John Gomez and I have been friends from third grade. He's probably the most honest person I've ever met. He called me and said he was thinking about running for office because he's concerned about the future of the country. Steve Israel, his opponent, Steve Pelosi Israel, writes votes with Pelosi 98.7% of the time? What is it?
98.7, Sean.
98.7% of the time. Now, in fairness, I invited Steve Israel Pelosi on the air, your opponent. And he sent me this letter, and I'm sharing with the public for the first time, Mr. Gomez. It is, thank you for inviting me to participate on your show to discuss your support of my opponent. The challenges confronting America are deep and serious and require fair and honest discourse. Let me be direct. I believe your show is a platform for the most extreme views that don't bring credibility to the debate. It has been used to scare seniors with lies about, quote, death panels, to question people's patriotism, and when they disagree with your views. By the way, I am talking to my lawyer because that is defamatory. To degrade and defame and to make outlandish charges about Democrats and to attempt to raise money for Tea Party and Republican candidates, including your boyhood pal, quote unquote, who's running against me. Of course, you have every right to do everything you can in pursuit of a right-wing agenda, and I intend aggressively to ask the people I represent whether they embrace your views or prefer mine. I will make my case directly with them, not through you. I will ask them to send the nation a message about whether your agenda best reflects their values, and we'll let them determine the outcome. I therefore decline to appear on your show, but very much look forward to fully engaging you in the months and years ahead. Well, how is he going to engage me if he can't come on the program? What do you think? Now, he's been missing in action. All he's been doing is sending out all these, press releases one after another. None of them mention health care. None of them mention the stimulus that I've seen, John. Maybe you can correct me.
No,
None of them cap and tax. Didn't he vote for all those things?
Yes, he did. In fact, it's worse than that, Hannity. Actually, his very first TV commercial claims that he wrote a tax equity bill, when in fact that equity bill, that bill that he keeps on reintroducing and keeps on being reintroduced every year, was originally drafted by Congressman Nadler before Israel was ever even in Congress.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like Newt Gingrich said, Steve Israel's going to have to lie about his record. And the reality is, unfortunately, the people in the 2nd District still believe that he is a moderate Democrat the way he ran 10 years ago. But the fact of the matter is he's a liberal Democrat, and he is a rubber stamp for Nancy Pelosi. It's a fact. He's voted for cap and trade, voted for Obamacare, and voted for the stimulus package. It's all there in black and white. I have yet to see one piece of, and he's already sent out 4 mailings. 2 mailings, by the way, paid for by the taxpayers. He's sitting on $2 million, and he has the nerve to send out his first 2 mailings for the campaign season paid for by the taxpayers, which, by the way, one of them claims stop wasteful spending in Washington, D.C., he says.
You got to laugh, but let me ask you a little bit, because we've been friends from third grade, and I just know you as a person of real integrity. And full disclosure here, I said, why would you want to do this? I tried to talk you out of this.
Well, first of all, and I urge everybody to go to my website, Gomez2010.com, Gomez2010.com. It fully spells it out, and we have plenty of video to show and demonstrate, and you hear it, from my own voice. You can see me explaining exactly why I'm in the race, why I've decided to jump into the arena of politics. As you and I both know, it's mudslinging and so forth. But the reality is, Sean, I sat down with my wife, Cindy, and I said, honey, it's getting to the point where we either have to pack up and leave or dig in and fight. And you know my wife. And the both of us said, well, hell, we're going to dig in and fight.
Now and by the way, for those that look, we've been friends for all these years. You're a businessman. I mean, this is what, you're a lawyer?
That's right. I've never been in politics. I've never run for office. I never held office. I'm a small businessman. I started my business from scratch. I have several employees, several subcontractors that work through me depend on me for them being able to support their families.
So you're a small business guy. You love your country. You're a great patriot. You're running for Congress because you see what's going on. And this is what you said to me in that first conversation. You said, Hannity, look what's happening to our country.
Mm-hmm. That's absolutely true. And not only, getting back to the right-wing extremists that he tries to pigeonhole me in, and if extremism means supporting the Constitution, believing in smaller government, less taxes and less spending, then gee whiz, I guess I'm extreme. But I think that's what the Patriots fought for, and that's what we still need today. And on another note, I have Mayor Rudy Giuliani coming out as if he's a right-wing extremist. Mayor Rudy Giuliani has endorsed me, and he's coming out to Long Island to support me on the 30th. That's next Thursday. And tickets are still available, by the way, Sean. Just go to Gomez2010.com, Gomez2010.com.
Is this a daytime or a nighttime event?
It's in the evening. In the evening, it should be a great event.
Well, one of the problems is that he's perceived and he's running as a moderate. Now, let me ask you a question. Did he vote for Obamacare?
Yes.
And how would you have voted on Obamacare?
I'm going to repeal it. If I get voted in, that is one of my top priorities, is repealing Obamacare.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and Sean, I've spoken to at least 20 physicians in my district, all of whom said that bill has absolutely nothing to do with reforming care in this country. Does the care system have some tweaks? Sure, but none of it's in this bill, and it more has to do with the redistribution of wealth than it does with looking at any type of problems that we have with the care system in our country.
As I look at the stimulus package, for example, $787 billion, Steve Israel voted for that stimulus package.
He did. That's a fact.
Yeah, and is he running on his vote for health care? I haven't seen any of his.
I have yet to see all those mailings.
Yeah. Has anybody at Newsday, the ever liberal bias over at Newsday in Long Island, which have they pointed out his votes on stimulus? Did they point out his vote on health care? Did they point out his vote on, let's see, the bailout for GM and Chrysler and TARP? And the son of stimulus and the infrastructure and energy bill and the emergency energy bill?
No, he hasn't at all, and he's not going to, and we knew that, and Newsday's not going to do it. Newsday's a friend of Steve Israel's, and we knew that going into the race. It's going to be boots on the ground, knocking on doors, going to train stations, and letting people know who the real Steve Israel is.
Do we know if he's going to vote to extend the Bush tax cuts for everybody in Long Island? Is he taking a position on that?
I'm glad you brought that up. Recently, there was an article in Newsday, and it said Long Island Dem breaks with Obama. He has not yet declared a specific position on it, but the article suggests that he's rethinking the definition of what's rich, 200,000 or not for an individual.
Yeah, sort of like an election year conversion, so right. he could, even though he's voted with Pelosi 98.7% of the time. Did he ever take a position on the mosque at Ground Zero? Because I haven't heard him.
That's another great point. As far as the mosque is concerned, I clearly said move the mosque. Just like the Anti-Defamation League suggested he do. He simply says that the developers of the mosque should be more sensitive as they move forward. Mm-hmm. What does that mean?
Now, let me ask
what does that mean?
Yeah, that's a non-answer. Now, let me ask you this, because did he vote in this health care bill to cut $500 billion from Medicare, which will reduce benefits for senior citizens in Long Island? That's
a fact.
Yeah, and did he go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead. I was just going to say, there was a recent mailing talking about Social Security and how Gomez threatens your Social Security, and that's about your hogwash.
Well, he cut $500 billion from Medicare. How is he going to defend that to the Newsday editorial board?
Well, he should be standing on his record, not running away from his record.
Let me ask.
What I'd like to do, I would like to fund Social Security the same way Steve Israel funds his pension.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. Where's Steve Israel on the issue of immigration and health benefits for illegal immigrants?
He's for it. He's that's part of the plan right there. He supports, it's like Obamacare. It's going to provide health insurance for illegal aliens.
Now, let me ask you a question, because I was very close with your father. And where your country roots are from, what, Spain and Mexico, correct?
Well, that's right. My dad's mom.
Family's roots.
My dad's mom was born in Mexico. My dad's dad was born in Spain. My dad was born in Texas and served in the war.
Well, you definitely got your good looks from both of them. That's just an aside. But all right, now where do you stand on the issue of illegal immigration? Because we keep hearing, people make the argument, well, for the Republican Party, they've got to soften their position on this issue of amnesty, or they'll forever lose the Hispanic American vote. Where do you stand on it?
Sean, we can debate until the cows come home about what we're going to do with the illegal aliens that are here today. I think the most pressing point is to close our borders now. Close our borders now, and then we can open up discussion about how to humanely deal with the illegals that are here. Now, with that being said, Sean, I'd like to say that we must be a country and a culture based on law. When laws are broken, prices must be paid. That's a fact. We cannot deal with illegal behavior and condone illegal behavior.
Mm-hmm. So here we have a guy that's voted with Nancy Pelosi 98.7% of the time. Here's a guy with $2 million. He voted to cut Medicare for seniors, votes for Obamacare, votes for the stimulus, votes for $3 trillion in new debt, and on a path for $13 trillion. Health benefits for illegal immigrants. He seems more concerned with the interests of Nancy Pelosi and the Democratic establishment. He's got $2 million. How do you combat this?
The only way to do it, Hannity, is to reach out to people to help for support. Gomez2010.com is a place where everybody can go.
And by the way, I donated, and my wife donated, and
I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. Gomez2010.com.
Let me ask you to be blunt. Do you have enough money to run ads against this guy, or no?
I really don't have enough money to run the amount of ads. We've got our ads all scripted and drafted. We've got them produced. It's a matter of running them through the month of October. Now, Steve Israel has plenty of money, $2 million of his own money that he's got all squirreled away, ready to bombard us in the month of October.
Yeah, and he's already been attacking me and Levin, and you have endorsements from Newt Gingrich and Governor Palin and Michelle Bachmann and Rudy Giuliani, so he's attacking everybody but you.
Yeah, well, there's really nothing to attack on me. I mean, I'm just a businessman, Sean. Raising his family on Long Island, a businessman who's built his business from scratch, employing people on Long Island. Steve Israel, quite frankly, Sean, is the embodiment of a career politician. He's been in politics at least for the last 18, 20 years.
Well, I want Steve Israel, I want him to reconsider. He sent me this pretty nasty note saying he's not going to come on the program. And I want to offer equal airtime to Steve Israel. I want him to come on the program. As a matter of fact, I'll give him a full hour if he'd like. And we can go over every vote that he's taken. Because he's been hiding. I haven't seen him out there much this summer, and he's trying to run a stealth campaign and hang under the radar with the support of Newsday and the local liberal media. So, John, listen, I honestly, we're going to continue to follow this race closely. It's a winnable race. Dick Morris mentioned it in his column and when he was on the air yesterday. And
I'm being elevated to a full contender in the Young Guns program. They see the race in play. Of course, we all know Steve Israel has been fighting, scratching, and clawing for the chairmanship of the DCCC ever since he stood down from his aspirations of being a New York State senator when Rahm Emanuel and Barack Obama basically called him and told him, don't run for that seat.
By the way, I'm hearing a lot of stories about Israel. I can't go into them now. I am hearing a lot of stories about Israel from very, very close sources. And we'll continue to monitor the situation closely.
Thank you very much, Hannity. I appreciate it. Gomez2010.com if you want to find out more and keep an eye on the campaign.
Gomez, you're a great friend. I consider you one of my closest friends on the face of this earth, and I hope people can help you. And you're a great candidate. I think you were nuts for doing this, but God bless you. I know your motivation is pure.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Hannity. God bless everybody.